So on New Moon Eve last night, I prepped all of my vegetables and let my asparagus sit out in the air and bloom, and it fluffed up really nicely. So this is me just stuffing it into the jar and inspecting one that didn't have a good smell to it, so I just set those to the side. And I thought I would just give you a tour of how everything went this morning. So it actually went really, really darn good. Last night, like I said, I prepped all my vegetables. I got all of my mushrooms washed, my carrots peeled and chopped, onions peeled and chopped, garlic peeled and roasted in the oven with olive oil. What else did I do? Broccoli, I got that going. And then I have some lemons sitting there, but as I was putting everything together, I came to realize that I don't have a jar with the mouth big enough for my lemons to go in, so I might make a trip down to the store today, but being as it's a new moon and it's August, it's guaranteed to be hot. I just want everybody to mark my words that in 2 weeks from now, when we have a full moon, the weather will cool down, I promise you. This coming week, everything's going to cool off because the moon is going to be in the sky behind the sun. So as the sun moves through the sky and the moon follows behind it, it's going to cool off that afternoon air. And then we're going to be moving right into fall. And just to double check me, let's look for the new moon in September, which is Rosh Hashanah. It's kind of an early Jewish New Year this year. I believe it's September 16th. And mark my words, please do, please, please. Because if I'm wrong, I want someone to show me where I'm wrong, because I don't always want to be right. But the fact is going to remain that the weather is going to warm up again come September new moon. Guarantee it. People are going to be like, wow, it's awfully warm right now. And they'll literally say that about every single new moon. They'll be like, it's unusually warm. But it really isn't if you understand how the moon helps to control the weather and the temperature and whatnot. I legitimately get a kick out of people telling me, boy, it's awfully hot today, and then telling them, well, that's because it's a new moon, and then they just look at me like my head literally fell off my shoulders. I'm like, well, never mind. Never mind. It's too much to try to explain. But if you're here on my channel and you're subscribed and you don't know about all of my moon stuff yet, and you'll get to know about it, don't worry. I think I might kind of harp about it a little bit, but it's just like super cool knowledge that, you know, it's not like I've known all my life. I just kind of come across all this stuff the past couple of years. So, sorry about getting sidetracked. Let's get back to the topic at hand. So what I'm doing here is filling my jars with water after adding salt to them. And this water, see, I don't really keep empty jars because I figure, you know, why not put water in there so that in case something were to happen or whatnot. And it's fresh, clean water. Like the water that I use for drinking, it's from the tap, but I boil it in my kettle. And then I put it into a jar for holding, for drinking. And I use that same water to quote unquote fill my empty jars so that I don't have empty jars. It just seems to make sense. You know, I could have empty jars sitting around, but why not fill them with water? Because, to be perfectly honest, where I live, it hasn't happened in a while, and I hope I don't jinx things, but we tend to have like water outages here kind of every few months or so. And it's because where I live, the property that I live on has like really old pipes and whatnot, and they tend to bust and this and that and the other thing. So anyway, kind of too much information, but so I'm just adding some salt to my jars and then adding water and vegetables. It really is that simple. Like, I tend to add, you know, some cayenne pepper or some other flavors and things. This time I didn't really give too much flavor to everything. The carrots, though, I did go ahead and add my carrots to a honey jar that I had. It had probably 2-3 ounces of honey in there, and I was like, well, I could just hang on to this honey and like try to decant it, use it for something, or I could just take the easier way out, just leave the honey in the jar, throw some carrots in there, some salt, and let that be part of the ferment, because carrots tend to have a natural sweetness, especially when they're cooked. The longer you cook a carrot, the more sweeter it becomes. So I thought the honey would be a nice complement to that ferment. Only time will tell. Anything can go wrong. But so far, I've been very lucky to not have anything go wrong with my ferments. Of course, I only started this a couple of months ago. What actually started me on ferments was I was really craving sauerkraut, so I went to the store, bought me a can of sauerkraut, and then I said, well, what's in this stuff? Because I read the ingredients on everything. It's, I don't know, a curse or a blessing, I'm not sure, but the ingredient said cabbage, salt, and water, and I was like, okay. So I just happened to look up how to make sauerkraut, and that's when my whole fermenting journey began. I started fermenting everything, and I still am, because I've always loved like pickled things and salt and lemon and like tart and sour and really strong flavors. I'm what they call a big taster, I guess you would say. So, anywho, I'm just enjoying the heck out of it, and I want to just kind of talk about this whole thing with sanitization in this whole process. Well, once we understand that as long as your jar is clean and your hands are clean and the environment is clean, you don't really have to sanitize, because when you understand how salt kills bad bacteria, then you don't really gotta worry about it. Same thing when it comes to tincturing. I see so many herbalists that are like, sanitize this and sanitize that and blah blah blah. You gotta realize that alcohol kills bacteria just the same as salt does. Same thing with honey. Honey is also an antibacterial. So when you're infusing your honeys, you really don't gotta worry about it. And anyone could say that I'm giving bad advice, and I would definitely say don't follow my advice. Follow your own intuition. Please do. It's super, super important in herbalism to follow your gut instincts, to move slowly, to think things through. And you know what? At the end of the day, if things turn out wrong, it's not that big of a loss, really. Throw it out. BFD, right? If anything doesn't smell fresh enough, good enough, doesn't look, just don't with it. It's just that simple. You know, people that end up with toxicity from stuff like this, because, well, they had, well, maybe something's off, but they just went ahead and just ate that shit anyway. Like, really think before you eat. Like, that's a whole nother conversation that I really, really want to get into, and I won't if nobody's interested. But if you are interested, comment down below and let me know, because this year has been such a journey for me as far as my diet and food, and my entire way of living has totally changed. My mind changed, and then my actions changed, and my health has changed in every way. And I just want to share it with everybody, because I think that, well, maybe somebody could benefit from it, or at least enjoy the storytelling process. You know, that's all I'm here for. That's all my YouTube channel is for, is just to share my experience, share the love, and hopefully get some love, wisdom, and sharing from you guys too. So I hope you all have a beautiful ferment and get things popping off on this new moon. Enjoy the day, enjoy the summer while it's here. If you like summer, that is. Peace out. Love ya.